Hi, my name's John and welcome to Ask John D. Jones, a YouTube channel dedicated for software developers to answer all your CMS and all your career questions. Okay, so today's question I've been asked loads of times over the years, and that's basically thinking about getting into contracting, what steps do I need to take to set up my own company and get rock and rolling. Okay, so my first warning is that I'm from the UK and all this advice will be based on my experience in the UK. If you're from another country, I'm guessing it's going to be a similar setup, but this is definitely targeted towards people from the UK. Okay, so my background is I've been self-employed for 6 years and I've loved it. I think everyone should do it personally, but obviously it's not for everyone. Some people like being employed. They like the comfort of working with someone else. They like the people they work with. For me, I'm a bit like frantic. I like change. I like mixing things up. I like learning different technologies all the time. I like picking my projects. And that's some of the benefits of if you start working for yourself, because you have a lot more options over your career. However, with all these options also comes you're a lot more responsible for start paying your own tax, and you need to start up a company to do all of this. So you can't just go, I want to be a contractor one day and then that's it. If you want to become a contractor, you need to start up your own company. You'll need to start doing like your tax returns. You'll probably need to register for value-added tax or VAT over in the UK, and there's a load of other stuff. Now, at first when I started it was all pretty daunting. I wasn't really sure if I was doing things right. Wasn't sure if the police were going to come around and arrest me for not paying my taxes. So this video is basically going to sort of walk you through the process of everything you need to do. It's really not that scary. Once everything's up and running, after like the first third or fourth month, it's really easy. It's just because it's slightly differently, it's a bit sort of daunting at first. Okay, so the first thing you want to do to be self-employed is you need a company. Now there's two ways of basically doing it. You can be something called a sole trader, which basically means people just give you some cash and then you figure it out yourself, or you set up an actual limited company. Now the difference between these, if you're a sole company and someone sues you, that person is entitled to sue you for your house, any money in your bank accounts, your car, the clothes on your back. If you start up a limited company and someone sues you, they're only suing the company, so they're only liable to take any money or any assets the company exists. So as we're talking about IT sort of stuff and there's quite a lot of money involved, it's pretty much a no-brainer that you should just start up a limited company. Doing a limited company also means you can do stuff like charging VAT, and you sort of get a few more tax benefits. They're getting less and less over the years, so my advice is PLC. So next question is, how do I set up a PLC? That's really easy. It's just the same as setting up like a website domain. Go to Google, type in company's house. You go to company's house and then they've got like a big search engine type thing. Type in some ideas you have for your company name, and then if it's available you can register it. Registering costs about 20 quid. Now after you've registered your company, it's an actual company. You can't just treat it as in like a website domain where you've got a website domain and you can park it in the back burner. This is an actual legal thing that like the IRS and the government actually care about, and if you don't fill in the right forms every year, you will get sent to prison, or you will get a big fine, or you'll have to go to court. So setting up a company, it's not a joke thing. It's not a simple case of I'm going to set up a company for like 3 weeks and then I'm going to forget about it. You're responsible for it. As I said, setting up's 20 quid, takes about half hour, pretty easy. But once it's set up, you have to treat it with a bit of respect. Okay, so now we've got our account set up. Next thing you need to do, you need to go and get a business bank account. Business bank account, a bit of a pain in the ass, took me ages to get mine. I had to go with my local bank, which I won't say that is, obviously. My bank cost me, it's not that much, about 10 or 20 quid a month. It's a bit of a pain because I can't use it's one of the big high street banks, but I can't go into the stores and use them. I have to do like everything online. But obviously when you set up a business account, you have to do it in your company's name rather than your name. Again, this is like tax-wise and liability-wise. When you get paid, you'll get paid into your company accounts, not your personal accounts. And then I'll get into it in a bit, but when you want to pay yourself, you basically then still have to pay. You have to take a little bit from your company account that you want your salary basically and put it into your personal account. So when you're self-employed, you still get a monthly salary. It's just your business is paying you that monthly salary rather than another business. Okay, so now we've got our company set up, 20 quid, we've got a bank account, and at the same time as setting up your bank account, you'll probably also want to go to HMRC, which is like the UK government bank account, website, sorry, not bank account. So the UK government's like website. Over there you'll want to set up an online portal account for your company, and there you'll want to register for being able to do your company accounts, submit them online. You'll also want to be able to pay for stuff on direct debits. Another really important one is you want to register for VAT or VAT. So what basically this means is that when you start invoicing people, say you work 10 hours and you charge £1 an hour, you wouldn't charge just £10, you'll need to charge £10 and VAT, which is £2. So you'll be charging £12 every single time you invoice. Now out of that VAT, you can do some cool tax deductible things. So say if you're commuting to work every day or you're buying lunch, stuff like that, you can start taking some of that money from your VAT. So you make a little bit extra money on top of, you know, what you're charging your clients. Used to be much better back in the day. Used to be like a flat rate scheme where you could say, I'm going to charge 20% VAT, I'll keep 5 of it and I'll give the rest, and I won't bother to the government and I won't bother doing any paperwork. But that's changed now because life's a little bit more complicated and they're trying to clamp down on tax evasion. But basically, once you set up with HMRC, another good thing you should probably go and do is set up an accountant. Now, when I first started my company, I thought, screw it, I don't want to pay anything to any money because I'm cheap. Why do I want to go and pay like this guy a load of money when I basically got one client, I've got one set of invoices coming in, and my receipts that I'm claiming against my VAT, they're all quite small, you know, there's only like 10 or 20 receipts. Tried that for the first 4 months, realised I had no idea what I was doing, got some lessons saying I needed to do some stuff, didn't know what I was doing, so went and quickly got an accountant. The advice and the tips the accountant gave me within the first meeting I had him, would have probably saved 5 years worth of me doing it myself, just because I didn't know enough. Like, he saved me so much money in the first year that I'm just go out and get one. So I'm from London, and the few people watching this who are from London, what my recommendation would be is when you're trying to find an accountant, probably go back to where your mum and dad lives or anywhere where you're from originally, which if you're not from London, and trying to get an accountant outside of there. It's exactly the same as everywhere else. Is the more you're in the city, the more expensive your accountant's going to be. So my accountant's basically a few miles from where my mum and dad lives, and I pay probably about £500 or £600 difference per year than some of my friends who accountants are in London. Accountants, they're probably going to cost you about looking at £1,000 a year. They'll charge you to do your accounts, which is April to April. They'll give you loads of advice. So basically, when you, aside from like this video or probably your Google research, when you start having specific questions about, you know, what to do with your company, you've got like someone to email. They're really good at my accountants email me every quarter to remind me to fill in my VAT. Every single time I need to do some company-based stuff, I'll get an email. So yeah, it's definitely recommended. So skipping through it a bit more quicker now, you should probably also get yourself business insurance. You'll want to get there's 2 different types. There's basically a physical, like a tradesman sort of insurance, and there's like a conceptual, you know, like I release a website and it's broken and the company's lost loads of money and they're going to sue me. Getting insurance is about 100 quid or something like that. Again, you don't need it. I've went many years without getting insurance. I've never been sued, never had any problems, but as a legal requirement, the more and more places who actually start and you sign up contracts now, they sort of force you to have contractors insurance before they'll give you a contract. So it's something else you'll need to consider. So after you've got those main sort of things done, life's pretty sweet. As said, what happens is you get yourself a contracting gig. Normally what will happen is you work for the first 4 weeks after, well, the first month should I say. After you work the first month, you invoice someone. Now you won't get paid straight away unless you're in a pretty jammy contract. The normal arrangement is you go somewhere, you'll invoice, and then you'll get your invoice paid 4 or 6 weeks later. So some advice for people new to contracting is be aware of this and make sure you have maybe 3 or 4 months worth of salary in the bank before you consider this, or if not, just be aware of the risk. I mean, my horror stories when I started is I wasn't paid a great deal. I invoiced, became a contractor, worked somewhere for a month, invoiced them. I think the payment terms are 6 weeks. Then they weren't the best at paying people, and they took another week or 3 weeks after that to pay me. So I think I went about 3 months, 3-4 months without getting paid. Obviously that was really tough for me, but then when I did get paid, it was sort of like payday and I got loads of money. And also the good thing about as contracting is when you finish contracting, you're always going to have a month salary stored up if you're getting paid a month in advance, so you don't have that much pressure to find somewhere new. So anyway, it's been a bit of a longer video for me. Hope this answers someone's questions and it's been a bit useful. Again, this YouTube channel is generated by questions that you guys ask me, so if you've got a question, please just ask one below. It's really simple. I'll read all comments, or you can go to my website, jondjones.com, so jondjones.com, and go to the contact page. Just submit a question and I'll answer it in the next few weeks. Aside from that, obviously on your website, there's and you're interested in contracting, there's about 60 contracting sort of articles and tutorials which will tell you everything you need to know to get into contracting. Just in the top, hit the career link and then contracting. Anyway, aside from that, I hope you have a great day. Thanks.